Hello and welcome to our December 7th all-team finish line leader call. I hope that your holiday season is off to a nice start as ours has been. We just went and got our Christmas trees. Some of our college kids came home this weekend and we got Christmas trees and our house smells so foresty, and I'm loving the little bit of cool weather that we're having here in Los Angeles. Hope you are all having a wonderful month so far. I'm curious how many of you have hit Success Club already so that you can, for the holidays, tuck that concern aside and have hit all of your quotas before then. Tonight we are in for a really special call, and to remind those of you who haven't maybe been with us for a while, or for those of you who this is your first time with us, I want to welcome you to the call and say I'm so glad that you have carved out this time for us. We have this team call, and it is to every team member, way down to the brand newest team member, every month, the first Monday of every month. We are here with leaders who are going to be sharing a little bit of a takeaway, their top takeaway from the most recent mentoring call with Dr. John C. Maxwell, who has been spending the last several months with us, talking to us and training us as a team. That's unique. We are the only team in the network who is personally mentored by Dr. John C. Maxwell. And so this is our opportunity for those of you who are on the team who are not a part of the Maxwell calls to hear about John's most recent call and the top takeaways from some of the top leaders in our team. And so tonight is a very special night for me. I am so excited to have the speaker who we have tonight. I know I gave it away on my Facebook wall, but Doug Fitzgerald is my success partner, and every week for several years, Doug and I meet together and pray for our team, talk about our team, strategize new ways of serving our team. He is a man of the highest integrity and definitely at the top of my list when I'm going for someone to really help me to make some decisions and to look at things from every possible angle. Doug is that voice that I go to, and I'm just so excited that he's going to be here with us. For those of you who don't know Doug is a founding Team Beachbody coach. He has been associated with Beachbody longer than I have, since 2001. Actually, he and Tammy were in the infomercial. He and his wife, Tammy, were in the infomercial that caused me to purchase Power 90 way back in 2003. So it's so fun that I'll fast forward all those years that we're dear friends. He was a 2007 $10,000 transformation winner, and because he is a product of the product, he has been featured in several of the infomercials for Power 90, P90X, and has been several times to Philadelphia with Tony Horton to appear in live TV on QVC with Tony. He's a 9-star diamond coach, a 2009 top coach, and 2010 and 2011 elite coach. He's been a Success Club member for several years, served twice on the coach advisory board, is a multi-million-dollar earner. In 2011, he was awarded the first time ever that the company gave out this award for the CEO of the year by our CEO of Team Beachbody, Carl Deichler. That's a really huge honor, and that just meant, the very first year out of everyone, Doug was that person, and I remember Carl saying, it was, of course, Doug. And so I love that. He and his wife, Tammy, who I love, who's my dear friend, they've been married for more than 24 years, and they have two adorable, talented, incredible kids, Dylan and Sydney. But even more than that, he's just a man, like I said before, he's a man of integrity, a man I greatly admire, and it's my honor and privilege to have him speak to our team tonight. So I'm going to toss it over to you, Doug.
Tracy, thank you. I'm feeling really old, so in a good way.
Well, you're a year older than me, so you're really, really old.
I know, but it's coming for you. Trust me, it's around the corner. And one of the things I want to do, Tracy, before you leave is first of all, I just want to thank you for it's humbling and it's an honor always to be on your calls and speak to coaches, but I want to make sure that everybody here knows the time and the effort, the hard work that you put in to not only lead the team, but to do things and put together, like this opportunity with John Maxwell has been incredible for our team. You've spent hours not only doing this, putting this together, putting together training, but also a lot of money and time and effort And I just want to make sure that, number one, I thank you, and I know our team thanks you, and you need to please understand and know that we deeply appreciate all that you do. So thank you. And you also have an incredible executive assistant in Brittany Lane. She's done an incredible job helping people, and serving people. So thank you both. I really appreciate it, and I know the team does too.
Thanks, Fitz.
You bet. Well, I'm excited about tonight. The call in November was really was good timing, great timing for John. Obviously, I know that he intentionally had that in mind when he shared the call. And for me, there was a big takeaway that has really 4 steps. And so I call it there are 4 vital steps every Team Beachbody coach should take to succeed in their business in 2016. And I'm going to get to those steps here in just a minute and talk about really how John's call really helped me understand that a little bit better, and hopefully it can help you too. So if you've got a piece of paper and a pen, you might want to write some notes down, jot some notes down, and I know it's been a great help to me, and hopefully it will be a help to you as well. The call, John titled it The DNA of an Entrepreneur, or The Common Traits of an Entrepreneur, and it really touched me because it really helped dissect and understand a little bit better about who I am as a person as I'm striving to build and develop the business. And he talked about 2 things in the very intro of his talk that really hit me, and then there was a phrase that stuck with me. He talked about entrepreneurs visualize. In other words, they see an opportunity and they recognize that, but more than just recognize it, then he said that they actually actualize it. They actualize the opportunity, which means that they take action on that opportunity. So they see it and then they go for it. And he said this, he said, when they see something that they want, they go and get it. Go and get it is the phrase that really stuck with me, because I know that when I am really striving and developing and growing as a leader and being successful in what I do, I have that mindset of going after it and getting it. And John just nailed it on the head. One of the things that Traci and I always laugh about is, sometimes we get the best ideas of what we want to do when we're in the shower, which sounds kind of weird. But since John talked about it, he said this. He said, quote, "It's not the incredible idea that you come up with in the shower. It's what you do with it after you dry off." And I loved him talking about how to really better understand those ideas that you get when you're a leader and you have these goals and dreams that you want to go after to get. Then he said this, and this is really what I want you to, and if you haven't listened to the call, or if you've listened to it, go back to the introduction, because John said this. He said, when an entrepreneur finds what they absolutely love and believe in, their distinct advantage over others is that while others are still thinking about it, talking about it, and asking questions about it, the entrepreneur is already doing it. And all he simply meant there was they go and get it. And it reminded me so much of my son, and Traci mentioned Dylan. Dylan is 18, he's a senior in high school, and he absolutely loves to play baseball. And, right now we're in a point where he's trying to decide, he's going to be graduating in May of 2016 and trying to figure out where's he going to go to college? He's going to go to the university here, or does he want to pursue his baseball career? And it's always been his dream to play baseball in the majors, but before you can do that, you have to put in hard work, you have to be a great player, you have to be patient throughout the process. And his next step is to decide if he wants to play in college ball after he graduates. And he's been called by several colleges. We've went and visited a few colleges, and he's been offered at different colleges. But I still remember that day, that first day when he was a freshman in high school, when we had an athletic meeting. And during that athletic meeting, they had all of the different sports that were going to happen that year. They had the head coaches there, and parents and students could go to each of those coaches for each of those teams and just talk a little bit about it. And in this case, Dylan really wanted to obviously, check out the baseball team. So when he went to the table, he met the coach, and I was standing there, and there was a sign-in sheet. And the coach had asked every boy who decided he wanted to play baseball to go ahead and write his name down so that he had a good idea of the numbers he was looking at. And I remember that night as I spent time at that table and towards the end when we got ready to leave, it was just, boy after boy after boy signing up. And by the end of the night, there were over 60 kids that had written down that they wanted to try out for 16 spots. And since I knew how badly my son wanted to play baseball, I knew that this was a defining moment, because this was something that he was going to have to try hard for, but he may not make it. Most of his life up to that point, he's been able to just play in YMCA ball and select ball and all that. But this was something where he was going to have to prove himself to see if he was going to make it. And I remember riding home with him that night. It was just him and I said, Dylan, do you see how many kids signed up? And he said, yeah, there was a lot. And I said, yeah, there is a lot. And I said, you're going to have to decide, number one, how bad you want it. And you're going to have to identify then, number two, the things you want to work for so that you can make the team. And then number three, you're going to have to work your tail off so that when you come to the time of tryouts for the team, you can honestly say you did all you could to prepare for it and you left it all on the field. And I'm here to help you anyway. And I remember that night when I walked in, I went to talk to Tammy, and I was kind of emotional because it was just kind of one of those moments you have with your kids that you didn't think you're going to have to talk to about so soon. And I remember telling Tammy about that. And my son, he ran upstairs right away. And a little bit later, he come walking down the stairs with a sheet of paper, and he said, Dad, I want it. And he handed me the sheet of paper that had 3 things that he specifically wanted to work on so that he could make the team. And he asked me, Dad, will you help me work on these things? And I said, absolutely. You see, he had decided at that point that he wanted it. He wanted to go after it, right? He wanted to go and get it. He made the freshman year of that team. He was the only one to pitch a no-hitter. He led in batting average, and he's been on varsity several years in several statistical areas. He's been on the top. And, he's just done a really good job. Now he's at the point where he's deciding what he wants to do if he wants to play ball in college. And I'll fill you in on that in just a minute. But the one thing I want you to identify there is that Dylan saw what he wanted, and each step along the way, he simply set his mind to it to go after it and go to get it. And that's what he's done. And that's what John has said as a leader we need to do. Now, the reason why I said at the beginning of the call, this is a great time of year for John's call, is because I'm a goal setter. I love to set goals and identify those things as a leader and go after them. And every November and December since 1995, I went back in my notebook. 1995, I've reviewed my past year and then set my goals for the upcoming year. And here's the interesting thing, because after listening to John's calls, I thought, well, I'm going to go back and see what goals did I set when I was really going after it and building the business in the very beginning stages as a leader. What were my goals and what was I really going to get? And here's my list. And I just think it's just so, it blew me away. But my 2008 goals were these: to win top coach, to redesign my website, to win elite, to earn $10,000 by the end of the year each week, to hold regular opportunity and training webinars, to hold regular opportunity and training local meetings, to have Chris Simonian, who was the president of Team Beachbody, or $1 Million Body back then, to have Chris Simonian come to Lincoln, to hold opportunity and training events around Tony Horton, to sign up at least 2 coaches a month, get Tammy and help her get to 2-star diamond status, and to maintain a quarterly 5-star and 2-star bonus. You want to know the interesting thing about that? I achieved all those things. And I don't say that to build myself up. I say that to say I'm a big believer in goals and a big believer in what John said as a leader, that if you want to achieve things, you've got to, you've got to visualize it, then you've got to actualize it. You've got to go after it. And that's exactly what this process has done for me. So, so as I was working through looking at the November call from John and how I was going to apply it to my Team Beachbody business, I identified these 4 vital steps that every Team Beachbody coach should take to succeed in their business in 2016. And very simple. And I just want to share them with you tonight because this really was what the point of what the call has allowed me to put together to apply to my Team Beachbody business. The first vital step is to dream, is to establish that bucket list. What do you want if you could do anything as a Team Beachbody coach? What do you dream about? A lot of times we step back and we if we've been in it a while, we forget to dream. Or sometimes we don't give ourselves the opportunity to dream because we don't think we deserve it or that we can achieve these things. Dreaming isn't about necessarily believing that you're going to achieve everything. It's just putting down on paper what you would love to be able to do. Some people call it bucket lists. Other people, have dream boards, whatever it might be. But I want to encourage you to dream. Take time over the next couple of weeks to just dream about, if I could do anything with my Team Beachbody business, what would it be? The second vital step is to set clear goals, to be specific and know what you want to achieve. I wrote those goals down. One of the things you need to know is you need to know the qualifications of the levels that you want to achieve. You want to know the qualifications of rank or your Star Diamond bonus status or elite coach or success club or whatever it might be. And the cool thing is it just came out today. If you go into your online office, you can go to FAQ 2016. And what they have done is they've just released the 2016 annual rewards and recognition list with all of the qualifications for everything from premier to elite to top coach to success starters, Star Diamond leadership bonus qualifications, trips, leadership, and all that. So go to FAQ 2016 to get that information. That way you'll know the qualifications that you need to achieve as you're setting these clear goals to achieve. The third vital step is to set specific dates to achieve those goals. Make sure you put it on your calendar of when you're going to achieve these goals. Be aware of the important dates again as you're setting these so that you understand and know when you have to achieve certain things by certain times. Again, going back to, where do you want to be when you set and establish your rank, Star Diamond rank, Star Diamond bonuses, Elite Success Club, and so forth. So make sure that you set those specific dates and you have them written down. And the fourth vital step that every coach should know to succeed in their business for 2016 is to be an entrepreneur. And that's what John talked about in this call. The only way I was able to achieve these things that were on my list was that I followed the steps, and I guess not knowingly, but I followed the steps that really John set up of what it was to be an entrepreneur. So step 4 is be an entrepreneur and go and get it. John talked to us about in this call, the first thing he talked about of what the DNA of a leader is, an entrepreneur is being a self-starter. Don't wait for others to get started. Go after it, dream, set your goals, and then take the step to do it. Nobody else can do it for you, John talked about. The second thing he talked about was working harder than other people. Be willing to do what others aren't willing to do so that you can achieve that you want to achieve. The third thing was, having a great desire to win. A lot of times I talk to coaches and they're so, at least we're so humble at times, we just feel like sometimes maybe we don't deserve to win. The truth is, it's okay. We're designed to achieve things. We're designed to win. And great entrepreneurs have that ability to have that desire to win. And then the fourth thing he talked about in that DNA was allowing yourself to be mentored. One of the things I love about what Traci said in the intro is that we've been success buddies for years now. And that has been such an incredible tool in my life, an incredible relationship in my life, an incredible opportunity in my life to allow me to achieve the goals that I have because I'm able to bounce things off with Traci and be mentored by her and learn from her as we're growing this business. The other part of that was then leading your team by not going too far ahead of them. That's always something that, that it seems like when you're building and growing your business, sometimes you're running a lot faster than those in your team. And it's taking the time to bring them along with you. So to recap, the 4 vital steps that I got from this call and that's really allowed me to achieve as a leader where I'm at, that every coach should have to succeed in their business in 2016 is to dream, to set clear goals, to set specific dates to achieve those goals, and then be that entrepreneur and go and get it. And let me finish up with this. Last night, Tammy and I were out with some friends. We were having dinner, and we've always told Dylan, when you make that decision of where you want, if you want to play baseball in college, and if you want to accept any offers that have been given to you, that has to be your decision. We always tell them we don't care what you do. In other words, we care what you do, but we don't care the decision you make. If you decide to play baseball in college, great. If you don't, great. So last night he texted us while we were at dinner, and this is what the text said. I've made my decision about baseball. I talked to the coach tonight and told him I'm signing my letter of intent to play for him next year. I just thought I would let you know before I tweeted it out. Dylan. So Dylan continues to go and get it, and I hope that all of us with our Team Beachbody businesses continue to decide to go out and get it. So with that, Traci, I'm going to turn things back over to you.
Thank you so much, Fitz. I took great notes. I hope you all did too. Thanks for making it simple and basic and really connecting the dots from when John talks about being an entrepreneur to what that actually looks like as a coach. And as you were talking, Fitz, I was just thinking about, for those of you who don't know, there's a gentleman by the name of Andy Stanley, and he has a podcast, and he has a big church in Atlanta. But he just he has a way of just putting his finger on things, much in the same way that Doug does. But he has something that I always quote to my adult kids, but I'm going to say it to us. It's about dating, but I'm going to say it about when you are recruiting and building your business. And this is what he says about dating. Be the person you're looking for is looking for. Let me say that one more time. Be the person you're looking for is looking for. So the translation to that for business in talking about an entrepreneur is becoming that person as you're envisioning the team that you want to lead and want to draw other entrepreneurs like you. Be that person, because entrepreneurs are out looking for an opportunity like you were. They might not even know they were an entrepreneur. Some of us knew we were entrepreneurs. Some of us had no clue, and we stumbled on it, and we figured out, wow, this is what I'm made for. And so they're out there, people just like you and I, and they're out there. And it's funny because from the very beginning, Doug has been that entrepreneur who has mentored me in ways, because he found way back when we launched this network, there were literally no tools. We had no store. So even if people said they wanted to sign up with us or that they wanted to purchase something, which there were no challenge packs or Shakeology, we had nowhere to send them because the store wasn't even open. We were launched out in December of 2006, and the store did not open until late April of 2007. So for 5 months, we recruited people and said, but just wait, you're going to get a sign up in a little bit. So when you're waiting for a challenge pack to be released for the next, about a week in advance. That's exactly how we felt for 5 months. And what I loved about Fitz and his entrepreneurial spirit that awakened the deep entrepreneur within me. Just like Fitz was an entrepreneur, he knew he was. I didn't. I was one of those people who this awakened the entrepreneur that was sleepy within me. But what Doug did is he went out when nobody had a webinar. That was something big. The internet was still really new. People were still holding live meetings, and Doug did that every week. Every week he was holding live meetings. But he also ventured into the world of the webinar. And the company did not have a webinar, so Doug grabbed graphics and put together a webinar that is basically the framework of the webinar you will find to this very day in the back office of the company. Because Doug created this powerful webinar that enabled so many of us to kind of take it and tweak it and make it our own. But he shared it freely. And you know how when John said his first instinct was to keep his stuff to himself, and then he realized, you know what, I can have a greater impact if I open it up. And that's what Doug did for all of us. And he created this webinar and hosted live meetings that really laid a foundation for so many of us. What he did is he went and got it. And so many times when we sign up coaches today, I think it almost works against an entrepreneur to enter in when there are so many tools and so many new social media avenues where you can am I going to venture into Periscope? How am I going to do this? Sometimes we are tempted to wait for someone else to create it for us, and we feel like I can't move forward until my team, my sponsor, my upline gives me this material. I want to encourage you to go get it. Create something from scratch. Do something apart from your sponsor, apart from your upline. Stay connected to the team, but venture out and express your creative entrepreneurial side. Go out there and get it. And so now I want to ask you, what is it, as we're finishing out 2015, what is it that you want to go out and get? Like Doug, I have also, in the last, 15 years, written down what I want my year goals to be. And then Doug and I share them with one another. And at the end of the year, we spend December kind of looking at what our next goals are going to be, but holding them up to how did we do with these goals. And we assess that together. Find someone to do that with you. It might take a little bit of time, but don't give up. Go out there and get it, and bring in someone who's going to hold your feet to the fire and hold you accountable to it. This business, there are people who are stepping to 15-star teams and new millionaires in the team and all sorts of recognition and all sorts of income. There's no reason it can't be you if that's what you want. But instead of waiting for it to be given to you or hand-delivered to you, I hope that you will dig down and access the sleepy entrepreneur within you like I did, and let this call, kind of piggybacking on John's call, but letting Doug's words really awaken that sleeping entrepreneur within you, that antsy person inside of you that's like, oh, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. You can. You can. Go after it. Thank you so much, Fitz, for sharing all of that and kind of awakening the team as we finish out. I just think it's a great call to end on. And I just encourage all of you to spend these next few weeks hitting your end-of-the-year goals, but also looking at who and what do you want your business to look like and becoming the person that the people you're looking for are looking for. Our next call is January 4th, and we've already got leaders lined up who are going to be sharing our key applications from our next Maxwell call. Thank you again,